back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today. As usual, we're going to talk about XRP today. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic day wherever they are in the world. This is the one-day chart once more. Right now, the price is $2.17. Today, XRP is up. Yesterday, we recovered from that significant decline. And I am aware that some weak hands were probably shaken out by this dip. If anything, though, you ought to have purchased the dip. Additionally, many individuals are conjecturing that the Trump-Elon Musk feud was staged and isn't real. Even now, it is still going on. However, many others profited greatly from this dip. Take a look at Bitcoin. It's also back above $104, 0 cents. Okay. All I want is for us to keep going up through the again, that would be fantastic. Forecast for the price of Ripple. After a 9% decline, XRP rises as market sentiment improves. The article's thesis is that prior to its breakout towards $2.50 now is a perfect moment to purchase XRP at these prices. And I concur with that. This market is undoubtedly improving, I think the rest of June may be fantastic as long as we don't hear any more about tariffs and the Fed lowers interest rates, rise to $5.85 on the basis of a significant technical breakout. This is from Dart Defender then. It says, hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. On the weekly chart, XRP is moving in the direction of the main barrier. The orange levels are $2.40. $2.22 is the support level, $5.85 the target, breaking both the RSI conversation and the orange level tick. That's what will happen when none of us expect it and the time is up. XRP will begin to gain traction. We have witnessed it occur numerous times in the past. Because of this, this was yet another excellent time to buy before XRP took off. A millionaire trader predicts that once the price breaches this wedge, XRP will send. Gordon is the source of this. He claims that XRP will send when it breaches this wedge. Are you in position? Accordingly, his chart indicates that it will occur somewhere in late June or early July. The majority of people. I would contend that this timeline would expire. Until October and September, we are still using the 2017-18 run. So it all depends on where we are on the 2017 chart. However, that does not preclude us from making a breakthrough before the year ends. It simply means that we must be aware of our current position in the timeline. This is what I believe will occur. A catalyst is what we are awaiting. Whatever that catalyst is, it will cause everything to move simultaneously. After the old season, we'll go into a utility run. And will it occur? Will it begin in late June? Everyone is waiting to see that. And if it does, the price of XRP will soar, providing 8 weeks of uninterrupted excitement. However, we then determine whether those setbacks are likely to occur. Is XRP's price now being driven by utility? I continue to believe that this chronology will shift once more because the longer we consolidate, the higher we go. So I think it will be longer, but we will see a lot larger run as a result. This is the possible value of 2,000 XRP. By 2025's end, the fact that they stated 2,000 XRP rather than 10,000 or 100,000 X. Accordingly, by the end of this year, 2,000 XRP might be valued $34,200, 0 cents. And if XRP reaches $17, 10 cents, that is if the token does. However, if you use Greg's figure, which is approximately $34, 0 cents, you can anticipate that 2,000 XRP will be worth $68,400, 0 cents. People would still argue that we are going to go much higher in this run, and that is too conservative given how incredible that run was in 2201, 72201, 8. No price range is off the table, and I'm witnessing it once more. With a number of triggers that might push this coin further higher, we're looking at an incredible run. According to market researchers Zoom, if XRP is following 2017, it may ultimately emerge from its present consolidation in 2 to 4 weeks. Is this where we are, though, as I mentioned, 2017? Because we are unsure if that is where we are at the moment. In fact, we might still be here. We may be here rather than where everyone believes us to be, as I mentioned in yesterday's film. After a protracted period of consolidation, there is a truly tremendous blast off. Therefore, it all Depends on our real location. Nobody really knows, but one thing is certain. We are unquestionably following 2017201A in this run. 6 significant changes occurred following XRP's June 16th SEC triumph. From litigation to legend, following the conclusion of that case, the following will occur. Because this will give the institutions the go-ahead to start talking about getting into this market, we will witness constant upward momentum with daily announcements of institutions hoarding XRP. However, it begins when this case is resolved and the XRP goes through a recovery phase. No matter where that leads us, it will be the best season yet. To put it another way, if we anticipate $34.00 for the entire season, factor in an additional $10.00 for XRP's recovery price, as it hasn't fully recovered. I emphasize that because I frequently see individuals stating that XRP is not a security despite the fact that its price is extremely flat. The reason for this is that the institutions are still unable to participate in XRP. The SEC continues to worry them. Furthermore, it's price suppression because the case is still affecting XRP's price until it is resolved. At that point, XRP will begin to move as the weight is lifted. Gemini moves closer to a confidential file and an IPO. IPOs are getting hotter. How can we all know about this then if it's a confidential application? People are now discussing the Circle IPO once more as a result of Gemini's move towards an IPO. Circle therefore hurried to the IPO and made $37 million, 0 cents. Mentioned a few weeks ago that the majority of businesses that go public do it in order to raise money. We have not had to raise money. Can you tell the difference? However, Ripple will make an impression when they finally go public. Click here to listen to Brad. The majority of businesses who go public do so in order to raise money. We have not had to raise money, therefore that hasn't been a motivating factor. We have briefly discussed whether or not to go public. The US market has been extremely unfriendly until lately. Why would we? And Ripple is still being held back by it as well, as the case of Ripple v SEC. They will wait for that matter to be resolved before becoming public. Smoke also noted that a potential Ripple acquisition is not excluded by Circle's IPO. This implies that it could not be a straightforward bet on the stablecoin adoption theory, as investors might anticipate. Second, don't jump to the conclusion that Circle has no further M&A opportunities. Although there are potential synergies with Coinbase and Ripple, pricing disputes were the main reason the transactions fell through. Public market price discovery may be able to close this disparity and spark new discussions. Given recent allegations that major banks are considering issuing their own stablecoin, it might even draw fresh bids from traditional finance. To put it another way, they want to see what happens when they put it out there. To put it another way, Ripple may now need to increase their offer to purchase Circle, but this does not necessarily mean that Ripple will acquire Circle. People are now more likely to sell at $3, 0 cents, $5, 0 cents, and 89 cents since they have been waiting so long for XRP at $500, 0 cents is my goal. According to XRP Dragon, this is accurate, particularly during dips like the one we just witnessed, sideways movement over a month, and the current slow downward trend. The price of XRP will begin to rise sharply once this reverses. However, since this is the period when individuals have no patience, it is the most annoying. They either overinvest, give up, or become frustrated. Furthermore, many individuals would sell far too quickly, even if there were a strong breakthrough at this time. People keep claiming they're coming for your XRP. They do not want you in possession of XRP. They won't ever need to come get your XRP. These institutions will be purchasing it when a large number of people sell it too quickly as it's being sold. Remember that surge of adoption from the institutions? Let's imagine that a huge amount of money comes in and all of this liquidity causes the price of XRP to rise to $100, 0 cents, or $200, 0 cents. If it were to occur, the majority of XRP holders would have long since left. After being institutionally adopted, very few persons would continue being in custody. After the institutional adoption, we are aware of what will occur. Widespread adoption, mass adoption will be made possible by the institutions. With mass acceptance, you may 100x. Any price point you see with institutional adoption where users are using XRP